what is your background? So you're from England?
Correct. Yeah, so raised in Manchester and then did a degree in economics. Spent a couple of years in London doing executive headhunting and recruiting in the legal sector. And at the age of 23, I basically had enough of London and decided I was going to move to Scandinavia. So started applying for jobs, got one in Stockholm, made the move out there. And then 6 weeks after that, joined the CEO magazine, who at that time were just launching the first office outside of Australia. One of the reasons I wanted to go to London was because I was really interested in international economy, business, and working in the legal sector in Manchester. It was just, you're just dealing with English lawyers doing relatively small ticket business. But in London, you had the bright, shiny lights, you had the big international law firms, and you had people from around the world, US, Russia, Middle East, South America. And I absolutely loved that. So I've always been very internationally focused. When I went to London, really quite enjoyed it. Again, at a young age, 21, sort of sitting down in front of partners at law firms, so guys in their mid-40s who are earning millions of pounds a year, and trying to convince them to hire me to recruit lawyers for them was quite interesting.
Did you ever feel, like a lot of people find that intimidating, but did you?
Yeah. Yeah, very intimidating. And what ultimately worked for me was just actually being authentic. So not trying to act like I knew more than I did, but sitting in front of these guys and saying, if you choose me, I will work harder than anyone else. I developed my work ethic. In London, I ended up getting into financial difficulty, actually, which I think a lot of people do in London because it's obviously very expensive to live there and there's so much going on, especially as a young person. And yeah, I ended up with like credit card debts and things like that. And that was probably one of the lowest times in my life. And that was a real light bulb moment for me in terms of this can't happen again. Ever since then, I've been a lot more focused and determined and disciplined. I think it actually goes back to my childhood. So when I was 10, my family became foster carers. I was the oldest. I had a younger sister. At any one time, we'd have 1, 2, 3 other children in the house who were always younger than me. But because these kids came from troubled backgrounds, they were looking for role models. And I basically learned very quickly, if I misbehaved, they would repeat that. I saw the CEO magazine advertisement. It was in English. And at that time in Stockholm, it was very, very difficult to get a job if you didn't speak Swedish. I saw it, applied for it, didn't think much of it except for the fact that I didn't have to speak Swedish. And then I remember I did the interview with Chris, the founder, because of the time zones. We were doing it at something like 6 a.m. my time. I loved his energy, his positivity, and he explained the business model and how we worked. And I just got it and saw the value in it. Chris later told me he makes a decision within the first 15 or 20 seconds of speaking to someone on the phone. Thinking, wow, that could have gone at 6 a.m. in the morning. Yeah. It could have been quite easy for me not to make the best impression after 15 seconds. So I was working my way up in the European office and I basically became the second in command there under the sales manager at the time. And then the next expansion opportunity came up, which was in Asia. We'd done Europe was running nicely, and Asia was the next obvious choice. And actually I missed out on the first promotion that was available. There was 2 sort of manager roles that were going to be given. So from 5 people, I wasn't one of the top 2 that were chosen to be a manager.
Did that hurt?
Yeah, it hurt a lot. It hurt a lot. So one of the big reasons I was told I didn't get that role was because of my personal brand. Everyone else was coming into the office wearing like trousers, shirt, some people wearing full suits. And I was coming in wearing a t-shirt. And at the time, Chris had a certain view on the way managers should be.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a manager, whether you like it or not, you have to play the game. And I wasn't sort of mature enough to understand that. But again, that was probably one of the most key moments in my own personal development, was that, because I felt really personally hurt because I had a very good relationship with Chris, a personal relationship, and I took it personally. But what I learned from that was business is not personal. You've got to take responsibility for things yourself. You can't blame others. That was a massive step change in my attitude going forward. I just saw the opportunity for the business and for myself. Because we'd sold, as you know, like we sell support advertising. So when we interview a CEO, we're selling support ads. And in Europe, we were featuring a lot of CEOs whose suppliers were based in Asia. So I'd seen firsthand how lucrative that market could be. So even though it was obviously scary and I didn't really know what I was doing, the carrot was just so big in terms of, you know, like I said, the opportunity for the company, but also for me, because I knew if I can set this office up and make it the biggest in the company, which it's got the potential to be, that then positions me above the other people who are currently at my level. From the moment I interviewed with Chris, I kind of knew I would be the CEO of this company one day. Literally from that first call, I've always sort of said that. So that's always been like a clear vision of mine.